So, hello and welcome to the video, and this video is sponsored by absolutely nobody, as usual. So I just don't understand it. You know, I'm banging out such quality content and yet nobody wants to pay me to do it. Unbelievable. Anyway, in this video, I want to show you how I use Photoshop to stack Astro images to bring out more detail and to reduce grain. Now, if you don't have Photoshop, then I'm sure there's tons of fantastic torrent sites out there. I'm only joking, don't pirate stuff. But anyway, let's get on with it. So the reason why I would like to stack images in Photoshop is because if you have a grainy image, or just by stacking them, you get a lot more detail in the shot. So there are software that can do this. There's one for Mac, and I can't remember what it's called. Starry Night, I'm not sure what it's called, and it's like 40 quid. And then also there is a free one for PC called Sequator, I believe, but I don't have PC, so I've got no idea what that's like. So I just use Photoshop. So I'm going to try and take you through just as quickly and as easily as I possibly can. Now, it is no longer morning, so this is fine. This is manual process, so if you can't be asked, you're better off looking and paying for one of those softwares. This is the second time recording this as well because my computer couldn't handle it last time, screen recording and trying to do this at the same time. So we will try again. Right, what we're going to do then is I'm going to reset these pictures. What you want to do is you want to always shoot time lapses. Take the time out, shoot some time lapses, especially if you're having to go, the computer's screaming already, especially if you're having to go with a higher ISO or your lens isn't that wide, so you can't have too long a shutter speed. So I'm only going to do 6 because I tried to do 8 last time and it hated it. Okay, so I'm just going to do the adjustments to each of them. I'm going to be really quickly, really briefly. That'll do, let's go with that. So there's before, there's after. I'm going to copy that and I am going to sync it 2, 3, 4 across all of these, apart from you. Right, they're all synced. Edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. Shot looks shit. Right. Wait a very long time for it to open. Okay. Computer is screaming. What the fuck is going on with that vein there? Ugh. Right. Okay, we're only doing 6. So first thing I'm going to do is copy them with Command and J and turn the first lot off. What I'm going to do is select all of these, convert to a smart object. Then once it's done, I'm going to stack them together and we're going to let Photoshop stack them. And we'll do this to stack and reduce noise in the foreground. It's going to really struggle with this. Okay, bang. So we've got it as a smart object. Select, and we're going up to layers, and then we're going to smart objects, then we're going to stack mode and median. That vein is weird. Rasterize. Okay, so you can see that it's got rid of most of the stars, but if I zoom in on the foreground, then you shouldn't see much noise. So that's going to become a foreground. I'm going to rename that so I remember, and we're going to turn it off. Okay, so what we're going to do is turn on the top ones. you can't do the same thing because, as you see, it just got rid of the stars. So what we're going to do is select all, and we're going to go to blend mode and go to difference. Now you can see the difference here between each of those images. What we're going to do is start away from the bottom, load the next one on top, and then we're going to manually shift these images around so that we stack the stars on top of each other. Now this is a ball ache, but we're going to do this as quick as we possibly can. Okay, so Command and T brings up the transform, and then I'm going to zoom into the middle of the image, and you can see the difference between these two images by when you drag one. Christ, this is going slow. Can we do us a favour? Okay, so I'm going to try and... Bloody hell. I don't know if we're going to be able to do this. I'm going to have to give you the general idea and then pause the screen recording because this is not going to work. I'm not going to be able to do this. Right, you get the idea here as it's going black slowly as they are linking up there, right? Christ, that's bad. Then you go up to each of the corners, and we're wanting to just rotate slightly so that the stars are aligned. Over to the next side. I don't think we're going to be able to make this video. This is just not working at all. This fucking computer. There, you can finally see there as it goes black when they're actually aligned. Next thing we're going to do is go up to this free transform and bring the image back, and then let me just zoom back out. Between each of these squares we can free transform and move around the image to get the stars to be as close as possible. Shit, this is going to be almost impossible to do. Okay, so as we drag there, you can see those stars are now aligned, and then we're going to go up into the corners. Looks a bit better. It's actually not too bad. When the images are, oh, I've just ballsed it out. The images are right next to each other, it's usually not as hard. They will move further and further away as you get further up these images. Right, so once you're happy with that, hit enter. And shit me. I'm going to zoom back out. Then you can see that the difference on this image is a lot less, which is up here. You should spend your time, go through each individual one, take as much time as you possibly can to do this, but I'm going to try and speed through because this just isn't working. Okay, so I'm going to turn that image off. I'm then going to turn on the next one, because what we want to do is we want to line them all up with the bottom image. So, whoops, clicking on that image, I'm going to do exactly the same thing, Command and T, and I'm going to zoom into the middle. There, and then I'm going to go over to the edges. There, to the top, and we're just lining up at this point. Can stretch them in a minute. Christ, this is really struggling. That's really bad. Okay, down to the bottom. Come on. Not too bad down there. Okay, then we're going to go to the free transform if it ever. Okay, and then we're going to start moving. There. I would say it's not so important it has to be exact, but get it as close as you can. You definitely want them to align as best you can where the Milky Way actually is. So you just want it to go as black as possible. Okay, you get the point, I'm sure, at this point, how to do this. Line this up. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the screen recording at this point because this is just shocking, and then I'm just going to carry on and get through these and start the screen record again. Painful. Right, we are screen recording again. That was absolutely painful. Christ. Okay, let's take our blend mode back to normal, and we should hopefully have a lot more detail in there. So what I'm going to do is, now we have that done, you should spend a lot longer doing that because that was really bad. Now that they are very slightly overlaid to each other, you can see the difference there is a lot less than it was originally. What we're going to do is convert that to a smart object again. Hope this camera's not going to die, and we'll try and be really quick. Once that's converted to a smart object, we're then going to stack those again. At least I'll be able to skip through this, speed it up so you won't have to actually sit here doing this. This is painful for me. Right, bang with that. Okay, so we're going to go to layout, we're going to go to smart objects, stack mode, and we're going to go to median again. And then that should stack them all together and give us a nice bit of detail in the image. But what you can see it has done is it's brought out some more detail in the image. We're going to rasterize it, but it's made the foreground really blurry. So this is where we're going to do the layer mask. Going to make sure we've got a brush and it's black, and the hardness is up. A reasonably large brush, a little bit more, too much. Okay, and then I'm just going to paint back in our original stacked foreground. My opacity is only at 50, that's why that guy's not coming through. There we go. So I'm just wanting the foreground there. So we should be nice and sharp in the foreground, and then a lot more detail in the top here. So what we're going to do, I think it's Command and S, or you can just hit X and save. That will ping us back into Lightroom. And then once it's loaded, here we are, this is the final image where we should hopefully see, Christ, this is slow. What I'm trying to say is we should hopefully see a lot more detail and a lot less noise. So there's the original. Can have a little bit of look at the noise. That's level of noise there, and the grain. And this is our stacked image. Should be able to see, hopefully, a lot less noise and a lot less grain and a lot more detail. You can then add a little bit more to edit the image if you like. So we have gone from our original to our stacked image, which is here, which have a lot less grain and a lot more detail. So I've just tried to get through this as quick as I can because the computer can't handle it, but you should get the gist of how to do that. If you've got any questions on it, then drop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. I hope this was helpful, and definitely do try it. Like if you've got like an APS-C camera or a point and shoot camera or something like that, and you don't want to shoot stars because there's too much grain, all you got to do is shoot like 10 images and then stack them together manually like that. It is a bit of a ball ache, but the end result compared to the original is totally worth it, in my opinion. You can tell the difference there. You can almost read that shit. Anyway, finally done. We got through this. So I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you again soon. Take care.